Okay. So again, my name is Dr. Stephanie Devine. I'm an assistant professor of special education here at Georgia Southern. I'm also the executive director of Eagle Academy. That means that I get to provide some oversight, some big picture planning for the program itself. I help Nick problem solve. I also help with trying to obtain and maintain any grants that we have, as well as work closely with Nick on fundraising opportunities and so on. So Nick, why don't you introduce yourself?
Definitely. Hi, everyone. My name is Nick Rochkind. I'm the program director for Eagle Academy. What that means is I work with our students daily in the Eagle Academy room, helping them navigate through Georgia Southern as well as independent living skills such as roommate stuff, as well as their academics. And I work with those students. And then I also work with our peer mentors who are volunteers, student workers, or a graduate assistant to make sure that we have a team that works with all of our students to make sure that they're successful, not just in academics, but also their independent living skills. And I also help Dr. Devine with, like she mentioned, the grants. We also do a lot of brainstorming and ideas of how we can help our students and make sure we keep Eagle Academy going and making it better each year and every day.
Okay, so sorry, my screen is not cooperating, of course. Here we go.
Okay.
First, we want to take a quick poll of, sorry, this is you, Nick, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So we wanted to just take a quick poll of who is here. Dr. Devine, do we have the, yep, there we go. We have a poll going. Feel free, just put whatever number that you associate with. One is a potential Eagle Academy student and parent. Two is a teacher or district personnel. Three is a friend of a potential Eagle Academy student, and four is other.
All right. So mostly potential Eagle Academy students and our family. We have one other. If you're not too shy, you could enter in the chat.
Yes.
What that might mean. But thank you for taking our little poll. Oh, it's not fun. Okay. So I wanted to start us off talking about programs like Eagle Academy, which we'll call IPSE a lot, IPSE, and we'll talk about what that means in a little bit. But there are actually over 300 programs of a similar nature across the country. We currently have 9 programs in the state of Georgia. Each program is pretty unique. They offer something a little bit different, but all serve students with intellectual and developmental disabilities that are at college age. Just so you all know, there's a program at Kennesaw, East Georgia, UGA, Georgia Southern, obviously, Georgia Tech, Georgia College and State University. They have a very new program. This is their first semester, so they're just starting out. Georgia State, Albany Tech, and Columbus State. Those are currently the programs here in Georgia. And as you can see from this map that shows different numbers, that's the number of similar programs within each state. And this map is a really cool map from thinkcollege.net. And I wanted to share that with you because Think College is an awesome resource for families who are thinking about programs like this, because not only is all the different program information on that page, but they also have resources for families on financial planning, preparing your student for readiness for a program like this, and just all the research behind many of the things that we do in these programs, and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to highlight that for everybody.
Right. And like Dr. Devine said, we are an IPSE program, IPSE, but we also are a CTP. And so when you're looking at programs, especially like ours, you're going to hear these acronyms and you hear a lot of acronyms, especially in the college world. But we are an IPSE program and a CTP program. IPSE stands for Inclusive Post-Secondary Education Program. And so with that, IPSE students are part of the university. They go to classes, they join different clubs and organizations. They can even join or they can even create their own club or organization on campus. They are able to play intramural sports, go to sporting events like our football games or even our basketball games, and they can do a whole lot more as a part of the IPSE program. But we are also a CTP program, which is a comprehensive transition program. And what that really means is our program has been approved by the Department of Education. So our students are eligible for Pell Grant, the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, and work study programs. And so that's the great part is we have those. And so you'll hear both those acronyms within our program.
And not every program is a CTP because there is an application process for that and an approval process for that. But that does allow us to offer some of those federal financial aid pieces. I do want to highlight, though, that not all financial aid is available to students in programs like this because it is a non-degree seeking program. They only have access to Pell Grant funding and then that federal work study as far as federal financial aid is concerned. All right, program highlights. We are a 2-year program where students throughout those 2 years will take a total of 48 credit hours, either via credit or audit. And some of that is internship experiences. Currently, the program is only offered on the Statesboro campus. It is a residential program, so students in Eagle Academy, especially their first year, live in the residence halls with other students other undergraduates at Georgia Southern. They take both typical Georgia Southern classes as well as specifically some Eagle Academy courses where we work on career development, we work on independent living, self-determination skills, and some of those soft skills that some of our students need some direct support and help learning to prepare for employment and independent living. Students also take courses that support their interests. So particularly those courses they choose in the general Georgia Southern undergraduate catalog, those are person-centered. We work together as a team to figure out what courses would be most appropriate based on what the student is interested in, especially as far as a career goes. As I mentioned, they can receive college credit or audit the courses. That's also going to be a group decision depending on the strengths of the student. And then, as I mentioned, some financial aid is available as we are a certified transition program.
Okay. And as Dr. Devine mentioned, our students, their classes are based off of their interests. And so with that, our program is very individualized with their individual program of study. One of the biggest things is we are committed to that inclusion. So they are taking Georgia Southern classes. And each of the student, their program is unique and individualized. Through what we do is a STAR, person-centered planning. And so we have an initial meeting with our students through the first semester, and then we see them again either during that second and third semester to kind of do a check-in on theirs, because we know, like most college students, they always change their mind when they come in, when they start realizing there's so many different classes to take. And then we finish it with a final STAR-centered planning to help them with that transition from leaving our program to entering the real world and more independent. With that, at least 50% of our the students' coursework is going to be taken through existing Georgia Southern courses. Our students, they'll meet with me. We kind of go over their interests. We look at classes that they would be interested in taking. My background's in academic advising, so I know a lot of those different classes, and so I make sure to communicate with professors and departments on, hey, we have a student who's interested in this, and preparing the student by getting information in advance to talk about those courses. And then the remaining courses consist of either an internship experience or Eagle Academy classes that are taught by myself, and Dr. Devine joins us. And with that, we go through career, social, and life skill development. And then at the end of our program, our students receive a certificate of completion after their second year with us. And in the pictures, you can see on the top, that is one of the classes in the Georgia Southern that one of our students was in. And then on the bottom is one of our Eagle Academy classes where we go over, like I mentioned, career and social and life skills.
A major focus of programs like these, and especially Eagle Academy, is career development for our students. That's, in fact, our primary goal is to have them secure some type of employment by the time they're done in our program. Students explore a lot of different career options as they come into the program. They start in a career exploration course right at the beginning, and this is a Georgia Southern course that's offered to anybody, but it really helps them build their resume. They do a lot of interest inventories to see what kinds of jobs they might be interested in. They do mock job interviews. They set a basis for all that first semester, and then we expand on those skills in the Eagle Academy courses. And then we also spend a lot of time helping them explore different departments and programs on campus, so they could learn about career opportunities, or even just learning more about different types of classes that are available within those programs. Here you see some pictures of our students completing some job shadowing in IT and at our recreational facility, which we call the RAC. And then at the bottom picture, we're exploring one of the science labs. That was pretty exciting and interesting. And we really try to craft internship experiences based on what the student's interested in. Sometimes we start off with just what's available student job-wise on campus, especially if students aren't sure what they want to do. And then as they progress through the program, we start looking at internships that align more and more with their career interest area.
Okay. And those careers, they can be paid or not paid internships and jobs. So that's, and that all depends on what we're able to find and what the students' interests are in. So with residence life we're talking about now, Dr. Devine mentioned our students live on campus, and this is a residential program. So our students reside on campus for their first year of the program. Their second year of the program, we talk to our families and the students to kind of talk about their living situations, and that's determined. But most of our students stay on campus. They all live in Eagle Village. They're on the same floor with our Eagle Educators, which is a residential learning community for education majors. And Dr. Devine serves on that advisory board. So when they have events, we also try and include our students in those events. We work with the RAs and the resident director to make sure our students are actively involved in the resident life and the dorm activities, and also check in to see if there's anything we need to help them with. The students also will have a complete dining plan where they get to go to the dining commons or lakeside for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They can go there, it's buffet style, or they can also go and have a to-go meal and take it with them. And then, of course, our students are Georgia Southern students. So they receive an Eagle ID card with them that gives them access to getting into the residence hall. It also gives them access to going to the RAC to work out, using the printer on campus if they have to print something out, going to the games so that they don't have to pay for those. In these pictures, top picture is they went to a football watch party with some of our peer mentors. And then, of course, we have the bottom picture of move-in day, which is exciting, where they get the bins. They move in quickly. Hopefully, it doesn't rain on those days. Can't control the weather. And then that's when we do our orientation, stuff like that. With the residence life, they have different events on campus for the students. So I know, like last semester, they had a carnival theme event for the dorm. They're doing Valentine's Day and a Super Bowl watch party this week. And so they always have different events going on. They work with the RA. And like I said, we work with the RA. There's laundry in the residence hall. It's not within their unit, but it is on the same floor, so they can use the laundry there. And we work with our students, and housing works with our students, because they say any student that comes into Georgia Southern, regardless of if they're in our program or not, there are students that have never washed clothes before. And so they do teach students, regardless of if they're in our program or not, how to wash clothes, because sometimes students just need to learn that.
That's true. We wouldn't be a successful program without a wide variety of peer mentor support. And the reason we use peer mentors so heavily is because we really want to provide a real college experience for our students, and not have them, being supported in classes by grown adults, professionals, or whatever. So instead, we line them up with peer mentors who've been trained, and they help support the students' goals, their academic skill development, and social skills. It's all a wonderful combination of things. Students meet with their mentors frequently, and they work with them to plan their goals for the week, especially aligned with their STAR person-centered planning goals. They work with them on assignments. If needed, peer mentors will go with students to classes to help with maybe taking notes, or help students understand what it is they're supposed to be doing if there's any challenges there. We like to fade that if we can, and have our Eagle Academy students, make a peer mentor friend maybe in the class, something like that. So it is a case-by-case basis there. But then we also have mentors that serve as tutors or study partners, and then social mentors who we have them take students with them to some of the on-campus events. Definitely things they wouldn't want Nick or I going with them to, you know what I mean? Like going bowling or going to the football game. They don't want to sit with us. And social mentors can really provide more that real college peer advice, and a model for them to follow as they're getting through college. And we also rely on them a lot for explaining to our students, sharing with our students how they organize themselves, how they, plan their study time, and all of those things. Do you want to add anything to that, Nick?
I would say definitely the other part with that is, there's a lot of different systems that Georgia Southern uses to communicate with our students, or there's different tasks that they ask our students to do in general for Georgia Southern. And so for us, we don't see some things on their end or their side that's like the student portal for certain things. So our peer mentors, they've gone through the same thing, or they're currently, because we do have some that are freshmen that are doing the same thing, like any events that are required their first year. And so that's the great part, is our peer mentors get to go with them, where, like Dr. Devine said, I don't think they would want to go to a football game with us. We might be too boring or too loud for them. So here, what I like to do is I like to share what fun times we have with Eagle Academy students, and showing how active they are on campus, and enjoy going to different events. Our students, we get a lot of different opportunities for them, especially going to the sporting events, seeing Gus, joining different clubs and organizations. A lot of times our students just meet with a peer mentor, go and get Starbucks on campus. On the same floor as us, on the top right photo, there's the recreation room, where individuals donate recycled items, and we use those to create different things. And so one of the events, they did create an eagle using recycled items. So a few of our students, we went there and made our own eagles, and then they were displayed in the cabinet on the first floor in the lobby of the College of Education. The big hit last semester was on the bottom right was the homecoming week, where they had lots of events. And our peer mentors, that's when they love that social event part, because there's so many different events happening that week, such as our small little parade that goes around campus, to outdoor foam party, to going right to the big game for homecoming. And all of our students, they got involved in some way, whether they liked the football or not, they all went to some sort of homecoming event.
I think there's some pictures
just,
of that here too, right?
Yes. Yep. Here are some other pictures. In these pictures, one of the biggest things definitely in the beginning of our program in that first week is exploring the campus, where we do a scavenger hunt where we pair our students up with peer mentors so that they can go and take pictures of their building to make sure they navigate through the classrooms. They work together in our Eagle Academy classes, where they're doing writing assignments, and we're helping them work on their writing skills, their math skills. They take pictures with their internships. Of course, we see those game photos, studying. The two students that you see in the pictures with the computers, they're in animation, so they're learning new software for their careers that they're wanting to go in with art. Even our president of the university on the bottom right photo steps in and joins us for celebrations when we have year-end celebrations or graduation ceremonies within our program. So they all like to do a lot of different things. We want to get them out of the dorm room, making sure that they are being active on campus instead of just going to class and then going back to the dorm room, going to get something to eat, and then going right back to the dorm room. We want to make sure that they're active and feeling included and involved on the campus, and that they're not, just staying in that dorm room. Okay, so this is one of our graduates, Max Champion. He graduated in spring of 2022. And so for him, his quote says, "It's been good for me. The people there are great. They've been very helpful to me, always keeping in touch and being on the lookout." That is true. Max graduated. We check in on him frequently, see how he's doing. He actually ended up staying at Georgia Southern and is currently pursuing his associate's degree on the Statesboro campus. We have him as a social mentor, so he stops in, sees our first-year students, as well as our second-year students, because they were in class with him last year. So it's a friendly face that gets to come in. He worked and did an internship with the athletics department when he was in our program. And so he loved our program. And so when we asked him if he wanted to do a photo shoot, he said yes.
Yes. Page turn. There we go. So there are admission criteria because we are a comprehensive transition program. We have rules about who can be participants in our program. So you do have to have a documented intellectual disability to be in Eagle Academy. You should have received a diploma or certificate of completion from high school. You should be able to demonstrate the functional independence necessary to participate in the program. That means you have a certain level of independence, like you may not be able to navigate from your dorm room to our College of Education without someone showing you a couple of times, but after a couple of times, you should be able to do it. That's kind of what we're talking about. Or have the ability to be left alone in your dorm room overnight without folks being super concerned. We also need you to demonstrate sufficient social and emotional maturity and stability necessary to participate in the program. Use technology on a basic level because they are college students, so they're going to need to be the whole college uses an online learning system, so they need to be very familiar with at least the basics of using a computer or laptop. We will certainly show our students how to navigate the basic tools that they need technology-wise, but a basic understanding is good. And because we are considered a year 3 and 4 program, we ask that if students are coming to us that they have had some type of job, internship, or a really meaningful volunteer experience before they join us at Eagle Academy. Anything else to add there, Nick?
I think that's really it. I mean, I like Dr. Devine mentioned the technology feature. One of the biggest things we do with our students is to communicate and to make it easier on all of us without sharing everyone's phone number and having, group messages going craziness. We do have our students download a group me. And the reason why we use the group me is a lot of professors, they do the same thing in their classes. So our students are going to see that in their first year experience course or other classes that they take. And that group me is a great way for them to connect with classmates, to form, study halls with other classmates. And sometimes professors are in those group me's as well. So it's a way to communicate with that professor in like a instant message, text message feature. But it could be a way where they do a question in that little group me chat, and maybe other students or the professor answers it. But that's been a great tool for our students because, like I said, other students have been using it. And I noticed that some of our students who have on-campus jobs, they have that as well, so that they do that communication tool that way with them. And
With
then,
their
of course,
supervisors?
Yep, the supervisors as well as coworkers. So if a student, one of our students couldn't make their job or their shift when they were supposed to work, they can message and someone can say, I'll take your job for the day.
Gotcha. So a basic, it's preferred if students have a cell phone, because then we can contact them, or if they have a question, they can, and they're not actually physically in Eagle Academy, that they can reach out to us easily. And that is our basic presentation. So we're happy to take questions now if you would like to put them in the chat, or if you'd like to speak out loud. Either way, I think you all have the ability to unmute. Yeah, you should. Or if you think of questions later, you can always email us at eagleacademy@georgiasouthern.edu. And then Nick, why don't you tell them about the QR code?
Yes, definitely. So the QR code, we can always send this to everyone as a link. But that QR code, if you scan that, it goes to a few different links. It has a link to the application for, say, anyone who wants to start applying, you can apply going on there. It also has linked to our social media accounts, Instagram as well as Facebook. And then it has links as well to a few other things. So if there's anything that's going on, like if you go on there now, it should have the link for this open house that we had today, as well as a donation for anyone. So if you know anyone who'd like to donate, that could go in there. And then, of course, for our students who are undergraduates, it has that peer mentor application. So any of our students that are in our undergraduate programs, if they see that, they can apply and then we reach out to them.
So I have